What's up, family? What's up? All right, so this is Super Mike. Just a quick rant, uh, few ideas that I want to share. I want to talk about, and this is inspired by Oshay Duke. He had a manosphere, which is cool. Too many brothers, too many men, but it was a sister in there. And T West was a part of that manosphere, and some other people, Taz, who sometimes gets emotional for me, but he tends to be correct most of the time in what he says from my perspective. And I respect T West a lot. But yeah, brothers on there making these arguments about they're making these arguments talking about men should stop having children so that we can get wealth. And on some level, you don't want to have children in a way that irresponsible way. So yeah, you want to take care of your, but really and technically, really, we need to understand what priorities are and dominance, what we're up against. You're dealing with a situation where you got another group of men, i.e. white men, who've had so much control over the levers of your resources that you're coming up with solutions that they are kind of engineering. And, one brother says we should have all the sex we want with different women, just don't get them pregnant. And then, that's responsible. That's insane. That's an insane mindset, because the point is, we are in control. We are fighting for resources, and there's a lot of different ways to try to do that, right and wrong. Now you got a lot of ignorant people. You're not going to be able to educate 40 million people. I don't care how much. You're just not going to be able to get it all in time, because then you're going to have to deal with the pushback of the enemy, and you're going to have to deal with the resistance of the people to learn. So, but the point is, when people are at least having children, we have another generation, we have another chance at educating people to get those people on code, to understand the value of family, to understand the value of knowledge, wisdom, applying structure, principles, all these type of things. And what I noticed about that panel is, a lot of brothers shouting at each other, making jokes. I mean, about a very serious subject. We're talking about the future of our people. And these brothers was talking about, they were just joking, talking about nuts and get people's nuts out your mouth, and just making little silly cracky jokes. And it just was not about warfare, because to me, the men have to understand their role in all of this mess that we're in. We're dealing with an organized group of people. It's impossible for us, even if one man wants to go out there and, sacrifice his life, fight the police officers. Maybe he can get one or two. But they're going to take that one man out, and we all are left with an organized group of people who was organized in oppressing, murdering you, laughing at you at will. the only way you can overcome what we call a white supremacist system, which is the organization that they use to oppress others. And the only way you can overcome that is with an organized group of people, organized methodologies. And all of these organizations, which that's what we're developing, they take time. They take years and decades. These white people really did not get on top of the world in a few decades. It literally took them thousands of years to get to where they are, because they were in the caves. We were running stuff, and we have proof of that. But they went through all their processes that they went through. They had to build the building blocks of their society, and eventually now they have power to run the world, run society, and we're suffering because they hate us. So now we have to compete for the resources. And I'm going to read a little bit from this book, just Dr. Wesley's book. And it's just talking about this concept, chapter 11, I think, the pharmacological solution to keeping the black man subordinate. See, it's their job to keep you subordinate. They know that you, as a black man, and even as a black woman, as a black people, we want dominance. We don't want to be subjected to the whims of a racist group of folks who can actually kill you, at will without suffering themselves. We don't want to have our education. We have to go beg for education, beg for money, beg for resources. We're deciding to say we're not going to have children. That's self-destruction. That's self-suicide. That's self-genocide. You see, if you look at the debate that William Shockley and Francis Quest Welsing had, William Shockley, his solution was dysgenics, and Francis Quest Welsing said that their objective is to cause you to decide to eliminate your birth rate. They don't want to forcibly. They are in a sneaky way, in a what they call a furtive way, like a snaky way. They're getting you to decide. You think it's your decision for you to destroy your bloodline or kill yourself or not have children. This is insane. It is smart to wait till you have a few resources to have some children. And that's fine, nothing wrong with that. But you better have some kids. Otherwise, you should be wanting to have children. If not, you should be adopting black children. This is one of your greatest functions of life, is to perpetuate your life. And I'm going to read a little bit from this. So this is how, back in the UCLA in 1972-78, in California, Frank Irving of Massachusetts General and from Boston, he landed at the University of California in Los Angeles, where he continued his violence research and even his psychosurgery research. He collaborated with a group of UCLA scientists who in the 70s and early 80s conducted research on the mechanics of and the biochemical role in the social dominance hierarchy. They studied the interrelationships between dominant male groups and subordinate male groups, and what distinguishes dominant males from subordinate males behaviorally and biochemically, and how dominant male groups thwart challenges from subordinate males to maintain their dominance. So This is a scientific study on how to keep you subordinate every generation. They know that these, from the 60s and 50s and all of the Black Wall Street, from all of the towns that we came up with, from all of the lynchings, the Jim Crow, all of these different redlining, even the police brutality, the random murder, the not giving you justice and justice system, to the forced vaccinations, to the poison weed, all of these different, the milks and all this crap that they're coming up with, to these things are keeping you subordinate. Now you can get out of that, but if you refuse to acknowledge that these things exist, then you're going to continue to fall into these traps. And so this is an actual science. Your job as a man is to fight that. That's what you have to do. Otherwise that's jump in the river somewhere. You are supposed to fight for dominance. You're not supposed to fight just for some equality. You're supposed to fight for dominance. And you don't have to dominate everybody, but you have to dominate in your sphere of influence as a group. And that is the challenge that we got to deal with. And so part of your dominance is you're supposed to have a family. Your woman, you have to respect your woman, because you can't reproduce yourself as a man. Your woman is part of your reproduction. You and your woman, and there must be love. The best condition is love between the two. And this is a natural thing. This is something, and when we deal with nature, we're dealing with creator. And so whatever your philosophy on that, but this is something that is encouraged by creation for us to have, which is this feeling of love and of connection to our family. So if you're losing that feeling of wanting a family, of wanting to have a great wife, if as a man, or as a woman you don't want a man, or even if your definition of men and women is just so warped and you don't want to deal with it, who's winning? This enemy. This is what we're dealing with. And we have to be wise enough to resist that. And just to go back to Oshay's panel, if you look at the behavior of these, these are children. These brothers act like children. And I looked at the brother T West, and I looked at the things that he's into on his channel. And then you look at some of the behavior, the comments of some of the other, males on that panel. You can see a vast difference. It was I was looking at T West like he seemed like he had a hard time sticking with that panel. But that is our job, to go in there, because nobody else is going to take that insults. Nobody's going to take the insults that we will have to deal with to try to restore, to show our people that this is a self-destructive mindset. You must think about 3-4 generations after you, and for that you must have children. And if you are promoting a mindset that tells people to not have children, see, as a man, you're going to get the money. I have more money now as a family man than I had when I was single. Even as an individual, I have more money. If you're a responsible man, you're going to find the resources are out here. That's your job. You should enjoy finding resources. If the resources ain't in your city, you go to another city. There is resources out here to get. And God's not, to me, I believe in God. So I'm not, Allah. He's not going to create you and not have some resources somewhere. So, we gotta definitely put more emphasis on family. We can't survive without family. You really, a single man really, you get yourself into a lot of trouble, brothers. Because just going out, we have urges, we got male, testosterone going on. I mean, we get into these clubs. Come on, brother. You create, you're putting yourself in situations where you're in danger, where you have to be extremely defensive. And it produces, if you keep doing that, it produces a certain type of behavior and a certain type of mindset that makes you almost anti-community, because you're going around, even if you're getting involved with different women. You're not sticking with them, so you're leaving negative vibes all over the community. And she's doing the same thing with you, and you guys are toxic. You're just spreading toxic. So we want to encourage family, not, and we're not talking about irresponsibility, but we want to encourage family, and we want to encourage being sticking with people, putting the importance, we encourage love. Bottom line, you want to be in love with someone. Take the risk of being hurt, but I mean, you take your time and you choose wisely. But you don't start giving the enemy what he wants and just saying, "Well, I'm not going to have no family." That's insane. And so, that's part of what I wanted to say, and that's pretty much it on this topic. Yeah, that panel, Oshay, dude, shout out to that brother, and T West and and Taz, but some of those other brothers, I mean, I just want our brothers to kind of try to, I don't know what needs to take place for us to try to elevate our situation, because some brothers, you just cannot explain it to them. This brother had the nerve to say, "Oh, we in the internet, we in a technological new system. We don't have to worry nothing about history." That's what the people said about TV. Oh, we in a new technological situation. We have TV, we have telephones. You're still human. There's a human nature. The ignorance is deadly. And so it takes time, though. It really takes time, because these people have to, it takes literally generations, because I guess my father was something like that. And it takes that. Just look at DMX. We're going to take DMX. If you look at Fix My Life and DMX, you couldn't explain to DMX how important family is. But if you look at DMX's son, because of the irresponsibility of DMX, that son truly understood, and you can see the total flip. Now, even though DMX was irresponsible, at least he had a child, and he did some other decent things, but for the most part, the brother was very irresponsible. So sometimes, God allows that pain. Sometimes you have to feel that pain of others, the effect of someone else's irresponsibility, before you can truly understand, before your family line can develop someone who understands how power is gathered and retained. Because these dudes was talking about, I can retain my power, my wealth, and I can pass that on to Oshay. That was the dumb. I can pass my power, I can pass my wealth on to anybody. I don't have to pass it on to my family, my kids. I don't have to pass it on to kids. That's a subordinate male. This male can never compete with a dominant male. He is an Epsilon male. This is not even a beta male. This is an Epsilon male talking like that. This is a science dominance hierarchy. So, we got some work to do, and that's what Minister Farrakhan is doing. That's what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is doing. It takes time. It takes generations to sit up here. You got to talk to these people. You got to argue with these people, and you got to live life. You got to spread this message, and then, life has to be lived. People have to be able to see what's right and what's wrong. I mean, it is, and it's growing, but it takes generations to get the critical mass of men and women that have that understanding for us to take the power that we need to have. We don't have too much more time. These people are murdering us in the street. We need enough people who agree to form organization so that we can defend ourselves, because they want to genocide us, because they're about to, the Caucasian race is about to die out naturally. So they want to pull you in. So that's it. Peace, family, and assalamu alaikum, shalom, and all the best greetings and peace, and just pray for understanding. Bye.